Welcome back to the live morning show presented by Don Bullock Chevrolet. We are honored, especially honored in this Christmas week, to have with us today Jan Warren, the Executive Director of Meals on Wheels for National Edgecombe County. Jan, thank you for being with us today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Let's get started.
Okay.
Let's talk first of all about Meals on Wheels, what it is designed to do, and the purpose that and the place that it serves in the National Edgecombe County area.
Well, we are a nutritional program for seniors 60 and older who are homebound and don't have the ability to cook for themselves anymore or to prepare that hot meal anymore, and don't have anybody in their home, either a family member or a paid aide, who can help them with that service. And we serve the city limits of Rocky Mount. That's our service area. We contract with our local hospital to prepare the meals. They're a heart healthy, low sodium diet, and we deliver Monday through Friday a lunchtime hot meal, and then we deliver on Friday. If they would like weekend support, we deliver frozen meals along with their hot meal. It's just extra meals the hospital prepares for us, same heart healthy, low sodium diet, and it's something they can have on the weekend and warm up when they need it, because a lot of our clients don't have the structure that they need to be able to get food on the weekend and the support.
Does the hospital provide the food as well as prepare it?
Yes. They actually have staff that prep it, cook it, plate it for us, and bring it to us hot, ready to be served. We hold it in a heating cabinet until the volunteers get there, and then we send it out on the routes.
Approximately how many people do you provide services to?
Right now, our number is a little lower than it usually is. We're doing 100 right now. We have the ability to do 120 to 140 on the routes, and we do have a waiting list right now. Several reasons have lowered our numbers. If somebody is sick and they are on Meals on Wheels or going to rehab, we'll hold their spot for 23 days until we know they're not going to be able to come back, because Meals on Wheels is designed as a transitional program between being able to stay home when you're elderly and go into assisted living. Studies have shown that one of the key components to being able to stay home is to have that nutritional meal. And once you start eating things that are easy to prepare or fast food or just things that are not as healthy for you, your health declines. And so we're a transitional stepping stone kind of program, trying to help seniors stay in their home as long as possible.
I want to stop right here and thank Davenport Auto Park for sponsoring Meals on Wheels as your Community for Life guest, as our Community for Life guest this week, because I wanted first of all to get a little bit of the information about Meals on Wheels out, and also to say that food insecurity, not knowing where your next meal comes from, is one of the most challenging things and one of the most difficult things that any community deals with. And I want to first of all stop and say I want to thank Davenport Auto Park for sponsoring you, but also to use that as a springboard to talk, if we could, a little bit about food insecurity in Rocky Mount and what it really looks like. Jan, what is the actual, what is food insecurity in Rocky Mount? Well,
food insecurity just in general means that you're anxious about whether your money's going to last to buy your groceries, whether you're going to have enough physical ability to prepare those groceries, or whether you're worried about what your next meal is going to be. And especially during COVID, we've seen studies have shown that during COVID, isolation and loneliness and anxiety in seniors has risen twofold, and it's almost as devastating to their health as smoking a pack of cigarettes a day.
I was going to ask, is there, because it seems to me there would be a direct link between food insecurity, feelings of loneliness, feelings of isolation, perhaps even feelings of depression that would come from that. Is that what you found to be true?
Absolutely, and there's anxiety associated with it too. And so all of those play into food insecurity is one of the top not complaints, that's not the right way to say it, but one of the top problems that our clients have. And when we have someone who calls and needs Meals on Wheels for the first time, I will talk to them and do a screening and usually go out and do a visit, and that's one of the first things that we start communicating back and forth. They're very anxious about they're not going to be able to prepare their meals. They don't have the support and the money. Seniors are on a fixed income, and most of their money goes to rent, utilities, and then medications.
Yes.
And food is one of the items that they will let go by the wayside and eat one meal a day instead of 3 healthy meals a day. I very rarely go out and see anyone now who eats 3 meals a day.
And with COVID, and not to belabor the point on COVID, but with the added concerns that many people had about social distancing, wearing a mask, just being out in public in general, I can only imagine that might have dampened people's enthusiasm to even go to the grocery store if they could, to buy their food, to bring it back home to be able to prepare it.
Absolutely. Everybody has changed the way that they normally would do their food, and the way that they purchase it, the way that they go out and go to restaurants, or we've all gone to drive-ins. Our seniors aren't able to do that though, because they are homebound for the most part, and they don't have, a lot of them do have a support system, but a lot of their children or people who are associated with them have to work full-time jobs, so they're not there during the daytime. But a lot of our seniors also don't have any support system that's local. Their children live out of state or out of town,
yes.
And so we provide that once-a-day meal service for them. And it's amazing to me, because I'll go out and do the first visit, and then I'll try to go out every 2 or 3 weeks, or in 2 or 3 weeks, to check on them again. And 90% of the time, their color's better, their attitude's better, they feel better. And that nutritional meal does do a lot for them.
I can only imagine. I want to make this clear to our viewers. This spans the socioeconomic scale.
Absolutely.
This is not solely contained to lower income or folks who have an economic disadvantage. It is up and down the economic scale.
It is. And we do have a few grants that specifically ask us to give priority to lower income, but that's not to say that we just do lower income. Meals on Wheels is really based on physical need instead of financial need. In fact, if someone calls and they don't have a physical need, or they're not homebound, but their food is running, their money for food is running short, we can't necessarily serve them. We do have the ability to use some of our frozen meals, yes, for a crisis situation, but we don't have the ability to add them onto the hot meal service, because we are designed for people who physically can't prepare their meals anymore.
I can only imagine that if we remain in an inflationary environment that we have seen over these last months, and should that rate of inflation rise, it's going to affect the cost of everything.
Absolutely.
Which would include food with this, which could make 2022 even more challenging for our seniors than 2021 was. And 2021 was challenging enough.
Yeah, it was.
Does Meals on Wheels have projections, or does it look, do you see that as something that may be affecting what you do in 2022?
Well, we have made some plans in preparation for that, I will say. We have, especially this last part of the year, we have made, Rocky Mount is a very giving community, and we have made a plea to our seniors. We have a fundraiser in the fall for our seniors and trying to raise money. We weren't able to have that this year. It's a chili cook-off and craft beer.
Cool.
And it's a lot of fun, beans and brews. We usually have about 650 people there, but we weren't able to have that again this year because of COVID. So we sent out a mailer and asked people to send in donations, and we raised over $50,000 just in donations. So Rocky Mount is a very giving community, and they do a great job. We've also looked at some other funding sources that are local, applied for more grants, been able to get in some money for 2022, because even our cost is going up.
And
gas is going up, everything. So.
And the hospital's cost would go up too, because the cost of food is going to rise for everyone, since they are volunteering and providing the food itself. Their cost of supporting you would go up. Absolutely.
And also we've seen the hospital has done a great job through all of this, because we never shut down during COVID.
Let's say that again.
We never shut down during COVID. Not 1 week. We did, when the governor's stay-at-home order came out, we switched and did just frozen meals once a week. We ran out 900 frozen meals every Thursday, and we pulled in 24 volunteers, mostly men, because it was a heavy load to carry, and they did for 16 weeks. Those 24 volunteers delivered for us every Thursday. So we were trying to limit the contact, people we were sending into someone's home, and trying to keep everything as normal as we could, and be able to provide the food that they needed.
Let's talk a little bit about how it actually works. So you're working with volunteers who come to a central location and will pick up prepared plated meals for a specific number of seniors to which they will drive and deliver those meals to. Is that correct?
That's correct. So we have 14 delivery routes. We break our seniors down, and we can do about 10 to 12 people on each route. We have them all throughout the city, and you come and you usually do the same route each time when you come to deliver. But we have directions for you on how to get to each home. We have the meals packed in a hot thermal bag for you, and then there's also milk and fruit and a cold component, we call it. And then there's newspapers for the client. That's just a service that the Telegram does for us and provides newspapers for our clients. So you have all of that ready. It's down at First Presbyterian Church. It's where the pickup site is. Everybody comes and picks those up. We get you out, in and out the door, and it takes about an hour to deliver a route. And
because the routes are grouped together, which I will tell our viewers, I have volunteered before, both here and in the Triangle area for Meals on Wheels. And it really is nice. The directions are very clear, but the houses are one after another, so you're not going all over.
Yes, we've done it in a well-planned manner, so that you go in sequence and then swing back around to the church and bring your equipment back. So it takes about an hour to do it, and like I said, we do it Monday through Friday. On Saturday and Sunday we don't run, but we do special events sometimes on Saturday and Sunday, especially around the holidays. But we have about 500 volunteers that we use every month, and so, as I said, Rocky Mount is a very giving community. We are fortunate to have that many volunteers, because they're just the lifeblood of our organization. We have 4 employees and 500 volunteers.
Looking at 2022, what are you projecting the need for more volunteers?
We're going to have to add 2 more routes, we think, in 2022, which because of the need. We have funds to buy the meals and to actually provide the meals, and we have about 50 people on the waiting list. If all of those people fit into the holes that we had on our routes right now, we could add them, but they don't. They kind of come in clusters sometimes, and so feasibly, the only way we're going to be able to add all of those people is to add 1 or 2 more routes.
And to do that, you will need volunteers.
Volunteers is our biggest need, and so that would be, well, it's 2 per day, so 10 a week, 40 a month, and so we would need to add about 100 to 150 volunteers.
And this is something that someone does not have to say, I will do this 5 days a week.
No, absolutely.
Someone could say, I have availability on Tuesdays and I can do this on Tuesdays, and other people would pick up and do Monday,
Most
Wednesday,
of our volunteers
Friday.
only do one day a month.
Okay.
And so if you tell me you can do the second Tuesday of every month, we put you down for that route on the second Tuesday of every month. If you can do more than that, we will put you down, but most of our volunteers do 1 day a month.
Do you have any businesses that say, our employees will volunteer, so we will take this slide and we will rotate it through the employees that work for us.
Yes. Body Knoll is a big supporter. Cummins Engine Plant. Pfizer also does it. There are three biggest right now.
And it could be a smaller company that said we have
Absolutely.
4 or 5 employees and we will try and rotate this.
There are some nonprofits here. My sister's house, United Way, they send us volunteers. They only do one. Cummins, Body Knoll, and Pfizer do about 25 routes a month. Okay. So they're spread out. They don't do more than 1 or 2 a day, but they're spread out through the month. And but smaller groups will take 1 day. Lilly International takes a day. James Theron with his management group takes a day. So we have a lot of smaller businesses that take a day and do that. State Farm Insurance does it also.
For someone or an entity that would like to consider volunteering to work with Meals on Wheels, is there a training that someone needs to go through to do this?
We do quarterly trainings. We also have application they need to fill out, and we do background checks. We have such a vulnerable population that we're serving.
Yes.
And just in today's time, it's prudent to do all of that. But we do on-site training, and then we have, especially if it's a big group, we do quarterly training.
And this is something that people can do together. Couples can do it together, friends can do it together.
And we do send 2 people on every route. Okay. So you have a driver and somebody reading the directions. Everybody likes GPS now, but and you can absolutely use GPS when you go on a route, but we do have directions that tell you, it's the 3rd house on the right, it's got a green door, it's very specific. So it really helps you the first time you do it.
Several of the times that we did it, and then I did it, your residents were waiting on the porch or waiting at the front door for us. It's like,
they're usually if they're not on the porch, they're right by the door,
yes,
waiting for you, and you can just tell you've brightened their day.
Yes, I would say that is very true, because sometimes I feel that may be the only contact that they'll get during the day.
The socialization portion of our program is as important, if not more important, than that nutritional meal. We serve them every day. And I wanted to mention, during COVID, we were not able to go in their homes like we usually do. We started doing contactless deliveries where we go up with a mask on, put the meal there, step back and talk to them from a distance. So we started a program called Chat, which is primarily for our most isolated seniors. We match a volunteer with that senior, and they have a weekly or bi-weekly phone call, just a friendly phone call with each other, and they get to know each other, and the volunteer on our end will report back to us health needs that the client has. It's been really well received.
I can imagine,
clients have loved it. And
you'll continue that even as COVID perhaps begins to wane?
Yes, we have had someone sponsor that program, and so all of the small expenses are covered with it. It's mostly primarily volunteers, but there are some expenses with it. There are some other things that we can do for the clients once they're on Chat also. Help them with other needs they might have other than food insecurity.
As we begin to wrap our time up together, which, by the way, I very much would like for you to come back and give us an update in 2022 about how things are going. Tell us a little bit about your fundraiser. Are you going to have it in 2022? We are
going to have it in 2022. We have not had it the past 2 years, and our board of directors wants to have it in 2022 regardless of, we have not set the date yet because we're trying to surf the COVID wave and see when. We're anticipating, it's usually in November, middle to late November. We do it at Rocky Mount Mills and partner with them. We will still do it at Rocky Mount Mills, but we're going to have a contingency this time to move it outside. We didn't have that ability this year because it was so late in November. So we're going to do it the end of October this year is our goal. And we usually use the powerhouse and the lobby inside at the mill, but we are going to this year probably go back to a tent out on the front lawn. We've done that once or twice, and it's a great.
The last one that I attended was with tents, and it was really a lot of fun because you got to see people. You're outside. It was a little chilly, but it was a great environment and some good chili too.
Oh gosh, we have about 20 teams usually who want to compete and do that chili, and it is good chili. So it's a fun event. Thank you. We'll get it out there as soon as we know the date, And
we'll definitely have you come back on and give us an update on that once it's done too.
great, I would love to.
If this has struck a chord with any of our viewers, if they say, I didn't know or I hadn't thought about it, but this is something that I would like to participate in. I'd like to volunteer. I can maybe volunteer my time and efforts, or I would like to financially help Meals on Wheels. How would they go about looking into that?
They can go to our website. It's MOW, like Meals on Wheels, RMT, like Rocky Mount.org, or they can give us a call at 252-446-4336.
And we'll have this information on our website as well as available here at the station. And both are needed, volunteers and financial contributions as well.
Yes, they're both always needed, but the community, like I said, is a very giving community, and everybody seems to rise to the occasion. It's a great place to live.
It is, and this is another story that you can that you share with us that goes to show the good news and the good things that are happening in our community, and that the community recognizes that this is a need and this is something that really is unacceptable, that we need to do everything that we can to help those people that have and suffer through food insecurity, and hopefully get to the point where we can put Meals on Wheels out of business, that we don't have this situation
anymore. That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yes.
No one should go hungry.
No, absolutely
especially
not.
a senior. So we appreciate all the help we can get.
Jan, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been a wonderful conversation. Look forward to having you back sometime in the not too distant future.
Thank you very much.
That has been our interview with Jan Warren, Meals on Wheels. I want to again thank Davenport Auto Park for bringing Meals on Wheels in as their Community for Life 501c3 nonprofit for this year. We appreciate their support for this very much. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, Wayne and I will be back to talk about a few things, and then we will begin to wrap the show up. You're watching the live morning show presented by Don Bullock Chevrolet, and we will be right back after these messages.